It just was absolute shock. And then from there, very quickly, it turned to anger. You know, I can be driving my car just totally fine and then suddenly start crying because I remember that I have cancer. I haven't accepted that I'm in this club.
What does grace mean?
You got it. Come here. You want to do it? You know, I guess right now there's probably the, parallel people have between grace and faith. Yay! In some ways, I suppose I do try and embody that and try and be, truly loving and patient and humble. Sometimes I feel like I don't live up to my name.
Take me back to the beginning. How did all this start?
So actually it started sometime in April, where you've now met Hayes, and so you've seen what a boisterous, enthusiastic little boy that he is. And we were just here kind of roughhousing, we were wrestling around, and he kind of kicked me in the side of the armpit, and it formed a little bit of a bruise at the time. And I went to my primary care and I said, man, I don't know how to make this bruise go away. It's been here for a couple weeks. And she said, well, there's quite a lot of inflammation, I think, is why it's having such a hard time healing. So she sent me for a mammogram over at Cotton O'Neill. And when I went in for the mammogram, immediately they said, well, I think we need to go ahead and schedule a biopsy probably within the next week, which of course had me thinking maybe they're overreacting. Maybe they're just being overly cautious. Well, it turns out I did have an injury. That is true. They did see some, signs in the biopsy of what they just called like skin trauma. But what they also found was severe inflammation of a very, very fast growing form of cancer that I would not have found had my son not kicked me, because I am only 33. I wouldn't have done a standard mammogram. And by the time they found it, I was already at stage 3C. So
How grateful are you for a boisterous little boy?
I'm so grateful. I never want his personality to change.
How did you react when you got the results?
Oh man, I think when I first got it, I was in shock. Andrew and I were here at home when I saw that Stormont was calling. I came home and I was like, I think we better take the call together. We better open the report together. And to see it say carcinoma in my chart at the same time as my phone was calling, I just couldn't believe it. It just was absolute shock. And then from there, very quickly, it turned to anger. Just like a rage I've never known at the fact that it felt so unfair. I felt like I was so robbed. Room 10 it is.
But Grace didn't have time to dwell on those feelings. The next day, she went in for a CT scan, then a bone scan, MRI, labs, and more labs.
The first few weeks were very much whiplash. I just was showing up each day for whatever appointment was needed that day.
Breathing okay?
Yeah.
And she met Dr. Alec Britt.
I gotta be honest, I'm feeling really anxious about doing chemo today.
What makes it so challenging?
So she's fairly young for a case like this. Hers was quite aggressive. It grew in size rather rapidly on the course of just a few weeks to months. It had increased in size on her scans already.
There was a little bit of a race against time that Dr. Britt wanted to get on it before it progressed to stage 4. And I was really close to being stage 4, so he was moving fast to get me started on treatment. So I really appreciate that because I could tell that he was moving quick because he was going to beat it.
She has a triple negative breast cancer, which does tend to behave quite poorly. It tends to replicate quickly and grow fast. The difficulty with triple negative is that there's not a lot of targeted drugs that we can use for it. With hormone positive disease, you can use hormone targeted agents. With HER2 positive disease, you can use HER2 targeted agents. If you're negative for all of those things, we call it triple negative, and so what you're left with is just aggressive chemotherapy. Your blood count's okay today.
I know, I saw that, so we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it. Listen, I'm kicking and screaming about it, but we'll do it.
I'll drag you across the finish line.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
What is it about Grace's case that you can connect with?
You know, we're a pretty similar age. We're both in similar spots in life. We have young kids. I mean, the first time we met, she pulled up a picture of her son. Excuse me, that's gets me going. I showed her a picture of my daughter, and she's like, this is why I'm doing it. And I said, if you're all in, then I'm all in. And it's hard to see yourself kind of in that spot too, and it just kind of hit home a lot more.
I I have a lot of anxiety about doing this particular round of chemo, just because I know how harsh it is. And I wouldn't say I'm real happy to be here.
I wore my pink just for you.
Did you?
Yeah.
I wore my pink. Listen, I'm not in the joyful pink club right now. I'm actually, Breast Cancer Awareness Month is really hard because I'm like, I haven't accepted that I'm in this club.
There's a certain amount of dissociation that you have to go through, and that just helps you cope with the process. And then once you're on the other side and you are a survivor, not a fighter, and then you're going to join that club and you're going to be like, alumni right here.
Grace finished one 12-week chemotherapy regimen and is back again.
My second step is now I have another 12-week regimen of what's called the Red Devil.
In December, she'll undergo a double mastectomy.
So what do you think about when you're sitting here?
A lot of times I try not to think. Andrew and I usually banter a little bit. A lot of times I'll show the nurses pictures of Hayes because that keeps me motivated and keeps me happy. So I think about what he might be doing at daycare, or I ask his teacher what he's up to just try and stay present in my life and not get too distracted by what all this is happening. And my gratitude. I'm really grateful to the staff here. I mean, it's not lost on me that they're all here. They showed up at work today to save my life. You know, like there's something humbling about that too.
We are your support team.
Thank you.
You've done a lot of posting about this on social media.
I have.
How did you arrive at the decision that you were going to be as open as you are?
Well, honestly, I think it's because I've already been, my role at Helping Hands has kind of put me in the public eye already. And I think a lot of our followers and donors at Helping Hands have gotten used to seeing me. And so I was very nervous about suddenly having a scarf and suddenly losing my hair. And I was nervous about what people might say. And I just decided that I wanted to take control of the narrative. I wanted whatever information gets to be put out there to be what I'm sharing so that there's no questions. So that was the initial start. But then to suddenly start seeing a huge amount of feedback, and very quickly people started adding me on Facebook or messaging me and saying, I have breast cancer too, or my friend has breast cancer, can she message you with questions? And realizing that putting my story out there and being willing to talk so openly about the good, the bad, and the ugly has an opportunity to help people. I really want to be the kind of positive, cheerful person. I think that in most things in my life, I really, I want to be it's going to be great. I'm really happy, but I'm not. Right now, cancer is the one area I'm having a really hard time being positive about in my life. And I want to be the kind of inspirational champion of we're going to get through it. No, I'm angry that I have it. I'm going to be honest. I'm scared. So I don't see myself as doing anything particularly heroic. In fact, what I often see myself as is a very sick, scared little girl.
What's been the hardest part?
Honestly, and now I will get a little tearful, I think the hardest part is that now that I know that Hayes is going to be my only child, this is his only childhood that he'll live through, and this is my only motherhood that I'll live through. And I think the hardest part for me is the moments that I have to miss out on. That I had a vision for what it was going to be like raising a toddler and raising a family, and I didn't expect to do so much of it from my couch. I can't take him for a walk to the park because I get out of breath, and there's a lot of things I can't do. And when I have my surgery, I'm going to be limited on being able to pick him up and rock him to sleep. And I don't get those moments back, and I don't get another child to try and relive any of these moments. That I feel robbed of my expectations of motherhood in some ways.
Even though you feel robbed, at the same time, how do you put that in perspective?
Hayes is a really good motivator because I knew right when I got diagnosed that I very adamantly said, I want to see my son grow older.
Did you find a gnome?
I want to be there for him. And I knew that right from the beginning, that I was not going to miss out on seeing him grow up. And so even though now I miss some of the little moments and that really hurts, knowing that I'll be here for the really big ones is what really keeps me going. And there's something joyful in having this little boy who runs around and he laughs and he's so spirited, that really keeps our house so lighthearted too, that we call him good medicine.
Llama, llama, red pajama in the...
You're an open book and you're happy being front and center. Your husband, Andrew, not so much.
Yeah.
But what do you want him to know?
Man, Andrew has been the absolute pillar in our home. Even when I was in the hospital, he was adamant he wasn't going to leave me at all. He said, if you're here, I'm here.
Elephant.
Well, do you know what elephant says? Ready?
And he has just been, you know, I tell him all the time, like, this isn't what you signed up for. And he says, this is absolutely what I signed up for. I said in sickness and in health. And so it has sort of forced him to be more, I think, in the spotlight than he maybe wants to be. But he'd do anything for his family, and I've never met somebody more loyal. I'm really grateful to him.
You're confident you're going to beat this?
Oh, I'm super confident. I keep telling people, this experience has almost made me arrogant because I've cheated death now. So I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be okay from this. It's a really long, hard road to get there.
What are the latest scans showing?
Ooh, so I had a CT scan when I was in the hospital last week, and I was really excited that it showed significant shrinkage of the cancer cells in the original breast mass that was there, and that was indicating positive treatment response. And we're really hopeful that by the time I go to surgery, the surgeon may not even be able to see which was the cancer cells because chemo killed all of it. That's the hope.
If I could say anything, it's one, you're your own best advocate. Obviously, someone Grace's age wouldn't really have a reason to get a mammogram even once a year. Most people don't start until they're 40, and so if you see or feel something, being your own advocate and telling your doctors, hey, something is not right, getting a move on that diagnostic course can be very helpful. As far as everything else, I mean, treatment's hard, but the end result is better. And, it's a rocky road, but we walk it together and come out a little bit more whole on the other side for both of us.
Give Amos a good hug.
What do you hope you take away from this experience? And maybe you've already learned it about yourself. What have you learned?
In some ways, I tell people I have gotten harder from this experience. Like, it's made me a little bit harder. I might be a little bit more willing to say things that I may not have before, but in a lot of ways it's made me softer. It's really made me a lot more compassionate as a person. I keep saying I'll be the biggest advocate for cancer, and I never expected that. And I think it's just really opened my heart to being really grateful to the people who are around me and really seeing people around me for who they are. And, the people who show up for me and care for me, they just are coming out of places I never expected, and there's been so much love.
In some ways, do you feel grateful for cancer?
I hope someday I do. I don't know that I'm there yet. Right now, I'm pretty angry that I have it. I will say, I really appreciate when people say that they're praying for me, because right now I don't know that I can do it for myself, because if there's a lesson here that I'm supposed to learn, I don't want this lesson yet. But I'm hopeful maybe with hindsight and as I get farther away from the fight, I'll be able to see the beauty in it.